Vekoma, the leader past the 16th pole. He has the advantage out to 5 lengths. It is Vekoma for hot.
And here's Roadster storming home. Roadster on the outside and game winner. Go on with it. Roadster still confidently hand up.
As they run towards the top of the stretch in the Arkansas Derby, Omaha Beach, 3/4 of a length. Improbable attacks on the outside. Improbable gonna try him one more time. Omaha Beach, Improbable to the outside. Omaha Beach just won't let him by yet. Improbable second. Omaha Beach, yes!
Portland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report, and now it's Kentucky Derby preview time. All of the preps have been run. The point race has been pretty much played out, and every single prep has been contested in lieu of Owendale's win in the Keeneland-Lexington Stakes at the Lexington Oval. And it looks like, it's a very, very interesting race. Let's take a look at the point system, and as we get closer and closer to the 2019 Run for the Roses, we're going to start breaking down pace scenarios, jockey situations. We already know that Mike Smith decided, while having to make the choice between Santa Anita Derby winner Roadster and Arkansas Derby champion Omaha Beach, he chose to stay on Omaha Beach for trainer Dick Mandela and take off of Bob Baffert's Roadster, leaving that open for Florent Giroux, and that's going to be very interesting because it would seem after that situation was unfolding that Drayden Van Dyke, who was taken off Improbable, replaced by Jose Ortiz for the Arkansas Derby, was being, possibly made a candidate to come back into the picture once it became clear that Jose Ortiz would commit to Bill Mott and Tacitus, the Wood Memorial winner. His brother, Irad, is going to ride Improbable now, so you got 3 different riders in the last 3 races, which probably isn't ideal, but Jerry Bailey makes a point that sometimes when you ride a horse for the first time, you let them run the way they want to. So it could very well work out. I think every rider knows in the Derby you don't want to lose a lot of ground. But it seems as though Drayden Van Dyke's been unceremoniously been sort of left as an outcast in all of this. You would think that the opportunity, once it opened up that Mike Smith was going to ride Omaha Beach, that he might get the opportunity to have a choice between Roadster and Improbable and getting back on him. So unfortunately, he's left out. He'll find a Derby mount. I personally think that it's not the most professional set of circumstances or the most ideal situation for Drayden Van Dyke. I think it's extremely unfair, to be quite honest with you, and it's he's been jocked off in an unceremonious way, and it's not going to be good if one of those horses that he didn't get the opportunity to ride in the case of Roadster for the first time and in being remounted on Improbable, if those horses win the Kentucky Derby. On the other hand, maybe he inherits a mount that is a contender in this race and he wins the Derby anyway, but he had a marvelous ride with Instilled Regard after being jocked off of Justify. He rode him in his very first race when he broke his maiden, and he rode a fantastic race over the slop with Instilled Regard. If you look and go back and review the tape, he rode the horse magnificently, and just off of that makes him a fantastic rider at his young tender age. So unfortunately, it's not the most ideal situation for him. Let's take a look at the Derby point standings as they stand at the conclusion of all of the preps leading to the Run for the Roses on May the 4th, 2019, in the year of our Lord at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. And Tacitus is your number 1 at 150 points, the winner of the Tampa Bay Derby and the Wood Memorial. He'll probably be the first points leader to not be favored in the Kentucky Derby unless a wave of money and groundswell of support, depending on how he's training, in addition to being conditioned by Bill Mott, will perhaps turn the tide in favoritism, but it looks like he'll probably be one of the top 3 or 4 choices. 150 points for Tacitus. Omaha Beach, 137.5 points. If you remember, the Rebel was split in 2 divisions, and they took 75. They only allotted 75% of the 85 points when they split the points in 2 divisions. And for whatever reason, they came up with this odd point distribution. And Omaha Beach got 37.5 for winning the 2nd division, and then of course he got the straight 100 for winning the Arkansas Derby. Omaha Beach at 137.5. Vekoma is number 3 at 110, 10 points from the Fountain of Youth, 100 for the Bluegrass. Plus K Parfait sort of brings a little interest in terms of how these points are being allotted. Winner of the UAE Derby after performing poorly in 2 efforts at the fairgrounds behind War of Will. He was second in the Kentucky Jockey Club to Signalman. Roadster and by my standards and Maximum Security, the 5, the 6, and the 7 are all tied with 100 points for their wins in 100-point races, Santa Anita Derby, Louisiana Derby, and the Florida Derby, respectively. Game winners number 8 at 85, Code of Honor 9 at 74, High Call, the winner of the Gotham and third in the Wood Memorial, also the winner of the Jimmy Winkfield, has 70 points. Improbable has 65 for his second place finishes in both the Rebel and the Arkansas Derby. War of Will, the winner of the LeCompte and the Risen Star, 9th in the Louisiana Derby when he threw out his hind end, has been training well in his recovery and rehabilitation and trying to prepare for the Derby. He has 60 points. So even despite the poor effort at the fairgrounds, he already had, pretty much assured himself a berth in the Kentucky Derby. Long Range Toddy, 6th in the Arkansas Derby after winning the Springboard Mile at the end of his 2-year-old year. Second in the Smarty Jones, third after being bottled up in the Southwest. The winner of the Rebel Stakes over Improbable in the first division, ran 6, got smoked in the Arkansas Derby. He had enough points going in, but a 6th place run is not the ideal. That is not on the agenda of preparation plans for the Derby. He's going to have to rebound 53.5 points. Tax, one of the more interesting horses, a horse I'll be talking a lot about in the build-up to the Derby. I think he's really going to be interesting in here. The runner-up in the Wood, the winner of the Withers, third in the Remsen. He's run 3 straight races at 1 mile and 1/8. He has 52 points. Cutting Humor, the winner of the Sunderland Derby after a disappointing run at the Southwest for Todd Pletcher, has 50 points. He, Win, and Country House have 50 points apiece. Country House, 4th in Louisiana Derby, 2nd in the Risen Star, 3rd in the Arkansas Derby behind Omaha Beach and Improbable. And then Win, of course, was 3rd in the Tampa Bay Derby, 2nd in the Bluegrass with a very, very big run. Gray Magician, 2nd to Plus K Parfait in the UAE Derby, has 41 points. He holds the 18th spot. Spinoff, runner-up in the Louisiana Derby off of a conditions win. He was the winner, I believe, of the Saratoga Special last year. He has 40 points. And then Master Fencer from Japan gets the automatic berth. And this is going to really call into question how the point systems, the point system works for the Kentucky Derby. You got a horse in Japan getting an automatic berth and sort of pushing Bodie Express, who finished 2nd in the Florida Derby with a very nice effort at about 60 or 70 to 1. He has I think 40 points as well for finishing 2nd in that race. So that's a little bit of a problem. Signalman is also on the outside looking in. I think he has like 30 points in this, and another Twist of Fate I think may have moved up the ladder a little bit. I think he might have a few more points. Sueno has 32 points, and then of course at 26 you have let's see, Bourbon Wars at 25. I think he has 28. And then you have Instagram in the 26th spot. Mucho Gusto 27. Knicks Go, Owendale, and Outshine round out the final 3 spots, 28 through 30. It's pretty much a sure bet that these horses from 25 on, from 24 on, are probably not going to get in, and you could make the case for another Twist of Fate at 23. There could be a couple defections that could move him and Signalman along with Bodie Express up the ladder. All it takes is one defection, and Bodie Express pretty much is going to get in. So that's the point system in terms of the Kentucky Derby. Very, very interesting race. We're going to talk a lot about, as I aforementioned, the pace scenarios, the rider changes, and all the different variables going into this 2019 Kentucky Derby to be held at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky.
The hopeful winner, Mind Control, wins the Jerome in his 3-year-old debut.
Gunmetal Gray flying on the outside, and Gunmetal Gray, an eye-catching rally to win the shaft. Here's Harvey Wallbanger in Epic Math. It's Harvey Wallbanger. Harvey Wallbanger, the thoroughbred variety, wins the Holy Ball of Ranger
trust. Not that Brady fights on between those two. These three coming down to the line in the winners, and Tex does it.
Mucho gusto, impressive in victory, cruises home by 5 easy lengths.
He is the real deal. Another twist of fate in a romp here in the El Camino Real Derby.
Super Steed at the quarter pole has made a very big move, and it lands him 3.5 lengths in front. Super Steed. The 50-foot Southwest goes to Super Steed over Swingo.
Hidden Scroll turning heads and impressing in victory. He's wrapped up. Hidden Scroll, wow. He won by 10 or 12.
Once in a quarter of a mile to go in the Fountain of Youth. Hidden Scroll digs deep, but Code of Honor blows past. Here's Bourbon War unleashing a big run down the center, but Code of Honor is going to hang on to win the Fountain of Youth. And here's Haikal making a late run on the extreme outside. They come for the finish. It is Haikal to win the Gotham.
Down to the wire, it's Tacitus going to the front. Tacitus strikes to the lead. Tacitus to win the Tampa Bay Derby.
And Rosario says it's game time. Game winner, Omaha Beach, right together in Omaha Beach. I think he turned him away. Improbable, long-range Toddy trying to gun him down. Improbable, here's long-range Toddy.
Maximum Security cuts the corner and opens up. Maximum Security less than a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. But Maximum Security proves he's the real deal with a gate-to-wire win in the Florida Derby.
Roadster, the one to catch a furlong from home. He's in front of length to Manhattan up, but Roadster is back in a big way. And Roadster cruises to victory. And they're off in the Santa Anita Derby. And here's Roadster storming home. Roadster on the outside and game winner. Go on with it. Roadster so confidently handled. And Roadster gets up to win the Santa Anita Derby ultra impressively.
Vekoma, the leader past the 16th pole. He has the advantage out to 5 lengths. It is Vekoma for Javier Castellano and trainer George Weaver.
Omaha Beach is now a length in front. Improbable gonna try him one more time. Omaha Beach, Improbable to the outside. Omaha Beach just won't let him by yet. Improbable second. Omaha Beach, yes!
But Owendale comes blasting off the far turn for the lead. Owendale, Florent Giroux to win it at 12-1.